Hey, Podcast Rich host Adam Adams. And did you know that most podcasts never get more than 136 downloads per episode? And if your podcast has been stuck under 500 downloads per episode, even after 2 years, you are officially in the same boat as 90% of podcasters. But you don't want to be with 90% of the podcasters. Today, I'm going to show you how you can do something completely ridiculously simple. That reminds me of Zoolander. Ridiculously good looking. You can do something ridiculously simple that can change your podcast numbers overnight. So if you've ever felt like your podcast has got you stuck, feeling like you're in quicksand, no matter how much content you create, your downloads barely move. If that's you, you're not alone. And today I'm going to show you how to take a couple of overlooked techniques to allow yourself to trigger some algorithms within the podcast playing platform and get better than usual listeners, people who were casually listening to now people who are binge listening to your show. All right. In the last episode, I talked about how we use ChatGPT to support this episode right now. And actually in the last episode, I did talk about that I was going to share the 7 parts of the framework there, but actually I didn't do that. So I'm sharing you the 7-part framework right now. The first big thing of a good story, when I say the 7-part framework, this is about utilizing a story for your listener. And the 7 parts to the story is you got to have some type of hook to that story. And then you want to talk about the character that the story is all about. Third, you want to talk about the desire of that character. Fourth, you want to talk about the problem that the character is facing that's making it hard for them to get that desire. Fifth, you want to talk about the struggle that is within him or whatever is happening. You want to talk about the struggle. Then number 6, as we wrap up a story, we talk about the epiphany. And 7, the final result. This is the equilibrium. This is when everything comes together. So I'm going to use that 7-part framework that I got from Sean McCloskey's Leadership Boardroom, Sean McCloskey's speaker training. And I'll share that with you now in order to help you to be able to what? What's in it for you? What are you going to get from this? And that is that you will be able to grow your podcast on autopilot. You're going to be able to get more and more downloads, more and more listeners by using this. So I'm going to talk about the 7 parts of the story that is going to relate to me helping you to be able to use callbacks and call forwards. And with that in mind, the hook, the number 1, the hook is I want to take you back to my old podcast, the show that I had prior to this show. It was a real estate show. And I ended up selling it back. I started selling it in 2019. It officially closed in 2020. But before I sold that podcast, I felt stuck. I was putting out content like every day. I was putting out so much content and I was doing interviews with other people. I was teaching really valuable stuff in the real estate investing. And I maybe got 70, 80 downloads per episode. So I was below average. And you don't want to be below average. You want to be optimized. You want to be at the top. You want to be top 1%. 70 and 80 isn't going to cut it. We need to get you to 300, 400, 500, 1,000, even 13,000. So where was I? I was stuck. I didn't know what to do. Then we talk about the character, number 2. I was just like you. I was a dedicated podcaster. I was wondering why all of my hard work wasn't paying off. I believed that good content would eventually attract listeners, but nobody ever told me that a podcast discovery doesn't work in that way.